Okay, I think everything is good, and yeah, this should be good. And we can start now. Good morning, after evening. Konnichiwa all, and hello, I'm Vio from Vio's Gaming Channel. Today we will play something inside FallInLoveFestival, organized by Studio of Alan Visual Novel, and what we will play is the Chronotopia second skin. This is a dark fairy tale visual novel based on the Donkeyskin. Donkeyskin. Donkeyskin is basically what is it? This is a retelling or a rewriting of Donkeyskin. Sorry. Donkeyskin is looks like Cinderella but much more heavier. Also, hello Yami, hi Umi, welcome here. I hope everything is good, audio etc is ready. So yeah, before we start, yeah, I already mentioned it, but yeah, this game is very quite heavy, so there is content warning and trigger warning pinned on this chat. So yeah, we can start. Let's start this game. I will also read the content warning and trigger warning that is on the opening of the game. Let me start the game. Click. Okay, CPU should be okay, internet is okay. I think everything should be okay. Let's see if when game's running, it's okay too. Content warning. Violence. Chronotopia explores a lot of heavy themes such as the threat of incest, suicidal tendencies, brutal deaths, including the use of torture, the loss of children, illness, as well as physical and emotional abuse. As such, its content is not suitable for children. Yes, this is from German. Let me go back and click back to English because suddenly it goes to here. Wait, yeah? Okay. I think it was auto click. Yep, there's a lot. Yes. Also, let me know if you can see this. You can hear the audio. Hello, hello, Helianthus. Welcome, welcome. Yeah, let me know if the audio is good, if it is too loud or anything, so I can try to turn out. Okay, it's loud, so let me reduce the music a bit. This should be, yeah, I reduced it in here. It should be good, yeah, for now. I hope it's good. Let's see how it is. But yeah, anything we can do? Save? No. So yeah, this is the Chronotopia second skin. The content warning is there pinned on the chat. There is a lot of this. Yeah, okay, let's start. How did it all begin? Before my eyes was the most beautiful landscape one could imagine. Okay, let me save those settings and exit. A vast blue sky as far as the eye can see. A bright sky speckled with thin clouds. Oh, oh, Helia, hello, hello, hello. Ah, you're the dev. Welcome. Sorry, sorry, sorry. I didn't realize that. I could never have dreamed of a better place to honor my last moments. In fact, it is almost a waste. The light is too dazzling, too powerful. I am falling apart on the spot. Thin strands of hair periodically obscure my eyes. My own weight takes me down in an endless free fall, lower and lower still. Yes, I am drowning in this gaseous immensity. Little by little, my thoughts turn into a confused jumble. My whole being becomes numb. I am blown away by the wind like a wisp of straw, swept far away according to its whim. The very contours of my being fade away, my memories, my essence disappear. To tell the truth, as my body approaches the ground, as the impact becomes imminent, nothing matters anymore. I would like to say that I am scared, but I do not feel anything anymore. All I know is that I do not deserve what is up above, that I do not deserve to fly. While my corporeal envelope shatters into pieces, my mind keeps moving, particles afloat around my stiff and lifeless body. Everything becomes dark, silent. I do not know where I am going, but I know that this is where I belong. There lies my punishment. I return to original darkness. Ooh, that's a good opening. How can I even be forgiven? A rustle interrupted my slumber. My eyes opened by themselves, almost against my will, to reveal a blurry and grey world. Confused, I tried to move, but my body had suddenly become so heavy that it would not respond. I got the achievement. Congratulations, you're dead. Purgatory. After long minutes spent struggling against myself, I finally managed to touch my fingertips. Yet something was still holding me back. All of a sudden, I realized that I was not lying in my bed, just awakening from a long and pleasant night. I opened my eyes wide. I was standing, held against a wall by climbing plants tied to my limbs. A flexible botanical wall surrounded me wholly in some sort of protective and comfortable cocoon. Slightly pulling on the plants made them collapse and allowed me to entirely release myself. I could not stay here. I had to leave. Oh, interesting. Determined, I pierced the membrane with my own hands and stepped into the unknown. I found myself in a gigantic temple plunged in a half-light. Pale lunar rays passed through from above the vault, which allowed my eyes to get used to the darkness and finally see what the night was hiding within. There were dozens and dozens of cocoons similar to mine, lying all around me. I moved toward the nearest one and glanced through the gleaming translucent membrane. Interesting. There was someone inside, a sleeping human being. This discovery deeply disturbed me. Despite my dry mouth and hazy mind, it seemed clear to me those poor souls were being held captive against their will. I absolutely had to free them. As I was about to tear the lianas imprisoning this stranger's cocoon, I heard a bell tinkling behind me. I turned around. A strange figure was standing a few meters from me. A man or a woman dressed in a long robe akin to a monk's, leaning on a cane with their eyes fully covered by a black blindfold. The Graveyard of Discarded Dreams. That is the song title, I guess. Who are you? What is this place? Instead of answering, the apparition simply beckoned me to come closer. I had a moment of hesitation. In this meantime, I want to check the setting first. Just checking. Okay, so yeah, only that. Okay, let's continue. After all, I did not know this person. There was no guarantee I could trust them. But it was also the only human being able to provide me with the reasons of my presence in this enigmatic place. Could I even hope to understand without their help? As I was remaining motionless and mistrustful, my interlocutor reached for me. I sighed. In the end, this blind person appeared quite harmless. Had they wanted to coerce me, they would have probably tried to do so earlier. Suspicious yet determined, I responded in kind and grabbed his hand. Sorry. Then they quietly took me through the temple. To my greatest surprise, there were many other rooms like this one, the one I had awakened in, all filled with cocoons. This strange and dreamlike sight sparked my curiosity just as much as it confused me. Where are we exactly? Why are there plants everywhere? Why do people sleep in cocoons? But my companion remained silent the whole way and simply led me to the exit, to my annoyance. At least tell me your name! Finally, I arrived outside. Before me, a desert scattered with ruins stretched out to the horizon. Destroyed buildings were engulfed by luxurious plants, yet the atmosphere was dry. Sleeping in the cocoon the sun. Gusts of wind regularly created whirlwinds of dust from the muddy ground. This is interesting. In the firmament, a gigantic moon seemed to wash over this mysterious landscape. I felt strangely anxious, as if I had returned to a familiar place, a place lurking deep within my heart that I would have preferred to forget. My temporary guide brought me out my torpor by letting go of my hand and respectfully bowing down before me. And they go. Wait! Before I even had a chance to hold them back, they vanished into the depths of the temple again. Maybe that's why we invented sleeping bags. Yeah. At the same time, a group of young women came out of one of the buildings. They noticed me and readily rushed toward me, laughing. Oh, you just woke up? You must be new Shadow. What's your dream? What's your dream? Tell us. Come on, don't pressure him. The poor soul must be utterly lost. But it's the first time I meet someone who has just been born. I'm intrigued. I want to know what he saw. I do not understand what you are talking about. Where are we? What exactly is this place? Why are there people sleeping in here? In there? Don't worry, we're going to explain everything. But first, you must tell us your dream. Was it only a dream? I don't know anymore. I was cradled by plants and it was dark. I had to pierce the membrane. But what happened before that? Before that, I think I was in the sky, a deep azure sky, but that is the only thing I remember. Well, that's not very precise. Even a newborn claims he doesn't remember his dream, he is most likely a wavering shadow. We must take him to the list as soon as possible. You're right, his time is limited. He needs to find his dream quickly. List? Limited time? What is the meaning of this? What is going to happen to me? That's simple. We are going to take you to the wise woman of the village. She's the most knowledgeable person around. She'll know how to help you. Absolutely, and she'll explain the whole thing far better than us. It was anarchy in my head. I absolutely did not understand what was going on. None of the human beings I had crossed paths with thus far appeared hostile, but nothing made any sense. I half-heartedly let myself be guided through the ruins by my new friends. We met people on the way, men and women of all ages, dressed with loose and relatively warm clothes, probably to protect themselves from the wind and aridity. Some of them were talking aloud on a threshold, others were building some terracotta huts, and some were pulling carts laden with tools. One could have thought it was an ordinary village, if not for this peculiar and unspeakable feeling, as if these people did not really exist, as if this hamlet was in fact inhabited by shadows. Finally, the young woman stopped before a bivouac. A small group was gathered around the fire. "Step aside, it's important. We have to see Liz like right now." "It's true. We may have found a wavering shadow." With these words, a voice both sharp and soft rose. "Let me see." The villagers moved aside in a flash. Then I saw her. A young woman stood straight amidst the crowd, full of confidence. She was wearing a pure white dress that contrasted with the gray and dirty air. With a bright red cloak on her shoulder, she shook her brown hair and smiled mysteriously. Her piercing eyes saw right through my flesh. As if she had put a finger over my heart, a sharp pain ran through me. Her eyes reminded me of the sky, a great azure sky, and the coldness of the ground when my guts spilled onto the floor. I was falling. I was drowning. I was going to hit the floor. I was only fate's toy, a thing without a will. Yes, that was my dream, a fall. But was it really a dream? The wind blowing in my hair felt so real. The light so bright. And before that, before falling, I was on a lighthouse promontory. I was watching over the landscape from the top of the tower. The air was fresh, just warm enough, and the sun was caressing my skin. But despite all that, I jumped. I was the one who did it. I killed myself. But why? I do not know. I do not remember what I did it. When I finally came back to my senses, the young woman was staring at me with a large smile. "You just got a piece of your memory back, right?" Yeah, the song is back to the Graveyard of the Sad Dreams. "What? Who are you?" How stupid of me. I didn't introduce myself. Where are my manners? "My name is Liz. I'm this village's wise woman, and I'm going to be with you during the inner journey you're going to make in the following days." I I do not get it at all. What am I doing here? What is this place? Don't worry. My job also entails telling you about the rules of this world. Let me begin with an overview of what's going on. Then you can ask me anything you want. Is that alright with you? It's not like I have much of a choice, do I? Subject personality? Deeply pessimistic. I see, I see. If this is how you're going to be, go on. Ask me anything on your mind right now. What do you want to know? Well, where are we? You currently stand in a timeless space which doesn't have a real name, but you can think of it as a purgatory. In this world, the night is eternal. You will never see the sun. There is no end to the moor wherever you go. Nobody knows if it leads anywhere at all. Nobody knows where these ruins come from. And nobody knows why we are the only ones wandering here. But we do know that we are not living beings. We do not need to eat or drink, much less sleep. We are just here. This is incidentally why we have called ourselves shadows. Ah, interesting. Yeah, that answers this, but let's ask again. What exactly is a shadow? By nature, a shadow existence is cryptic. You wake up one day in the temple. You use your time as you see fit. Then one day you go back to sleep without any explanation. That's what we call being born and dying. But that's not really the best way to describe it because you can wake up multiple times or sleep forever. It's the tradition for each shadow to be given a name based on the dreams they had while they were sleeping in their cocoon. It is said that those dreams are in fact memories from your previous life. Your presence here is like a transition. If you manage to put your previous self behind you, you will be able to come back to life and have a second chance. If not, you will be stuck here. Does this mean I am dead? Probably. This is not how you pictured the afterlife, right? Well, let us say it's rather surprising. I suppose it would be better for one to know the basics of metempsychosis beforehand, but that is not very common. Strangely enough, as long as we are alive, we never worry too much about what comes after. Rebirth and the transmigration of souls. This concept seems so distant to us. And when it is time to die, nobody is ever ready. What exactly happens during a shadow's birth? What is going to happen to me? Oh, that is quite simple. The village council will gather to give you a name, and we will let you live along our tribe until the next time you are called to sleep. If you wake up once again in the future, we will give you a new name, and so forth. That is it? Most of it. That's the usual process when someone wakes up with clear memories of their dream, at least. Sometimes a shadow only has partial or blurry memories, so we cannot give them a proper name. That's what wavering shadows are. People stuck between worlds whose flame could vanish at any moment. Okay. Why are wavering shadows different from the others? I cannot tell you why some people have it easier than others when it comes to remembering their dreams, but I have my own theory. In my opinion, it's all a matter of individuality. Not everyone is ready to put things behind them, especially if they have lived a hectic life. There's also a high rate of wavering shadows among those who have killed themselves in the past. I imagine it's because they arrive here with desire to forget. Okay, what happens when the shadows don't recall their dream? I couldn't help but gulp as I waited for the answer. The wavering shadows is locked in the purification hall for several days, so they can meditate and get rid of the mist in their mind. After those few days, if they manage to get their memories back, they will have the right to join us. However, If they fail for whatever reason, they're denied. The wavering shadows who fail to overcome this trial are cursed. You will lose the ability to see as well as the ability to speak. There will only be one way left to atone for your sins, to become one of the temple's priests. Like that person I met when I woke up. They were blindfolded and would not speak to me. They were indeed a priest, so they could not answer you. I get it now. Priests watch over the temple. This is where most of the shadows wake up and where the faded shadows come to sleep. So you do not do anything special to keep them asleep? Not at all. Actually, the shadows who are on the verge of fading are irremediably drawn to this place and come stand next to the walls by themselves. Then plants grow little by little over their bodies and cover them. You can consider your cocoon an extension of your body. That is disgusting. I find this rather poetic, you know. Anyways, the priests lost their existence and now spend their lives serving the community. Some occasionally patrol around the world and try to find shadows who wake up in other places. It is a noble but lonely mission. There is no other way to save wavering shadows? I'm glad you asked. You see, in past, we would simply throw them into the purification hall and wait for them to overcome their trial by themselves. When I came here, I offered to help wavering shadows recall their past lives using a method called mnemotherapy. That's why those girls brought you to me. I am scared. What is mnemotherapy? The whole process simply involves analogy. I just tell stories that involve universal themes suited to my interlocutor's personality. Then they have to draw parallels with their past life on their own. My method might appear childish to you, but it does help stimulate the memory. All I have to do is to listen to you and react. No, sorry, this is us. All I have to do is to listen to you and react when something sounds familiar. Exactly. I am going to make you explore Uchronia, and you will have to find pieces of your memory, whatever Uchronia is. Uchronia? You must be familiar with the concept of utopia, a place that does not exist. For my part, I let people travel through times that do not exist. Temporal utopias I had the opportunity to visit in the past. So, possibilities, I guess? Wait, what do you mean by visit? I thought there was nothing else beyond the moor? I'm not fond of getting into the details because it's rather hard to swallow. But let's say I have the huge privilege of being the only one able to leave the village. So there's an exit to this place somewhere? Not really. Well, it's hard to explain. Do you really wish to know? Of course I do. Basically, I am able to travel from one world to another. They are all closed spaces, but I can walk between worlds to find my way. I cannot be seen by the inhabitants of those other worlds, but I can watch many things. Okay, that's interesting. So you're more on the watcher side of things, I guess? Interesting. That's why I am able to take you with me in Uchronia, and why I am a respected member of the village. Nobody else is able to do this. Wait, you want me to witness past events you have already seen yourself? How is that even possible? Yes and no. Like I said, these are Uchronias, temporal utopias. Time works differently there. I can go back to the creation of the world if I so desire. Why are you the only one able to travel? Well, Liz looked very uncomfortable. He took a deep breath and shot a profoundly gentle look at me. Well, shadows are not really people to begin with. And the things you see in your dreams are not really from your past life. In fact, we are ideas, all of us. Our dreams are our concepts. But a concept is a shifting thing, so it's quite normal to be put into sleep and come back to life as a new variation of that concept. The thing is, nobody here realizes it. Or rather, nobody wants to admit it. Because if there's an idea, then there's someone who thought of that idea. And being the toy of some unseen being is not pleasant. I'm the only one here who accepted myself as an incomplete idea and embraced my true essence. That's all. Ideas? But ideas cannot feel anything. That is ridiculous. Why we have to be human? See, I know you wouldn't believe me. Still, that is the truth. This place does have a name. The Ideas Graveyard. You and I are both incomplete characters in a story that has never been told. That's why we are doomed to be born again and again, hoping to achieve our final form and obtain the acceptance of our maker. That is preposterous! You know what? Forget it. You have to be a human being. I was only joking. That was so funny. I know it. That was one philosophical ramble you went on. It did not make sense at all. Anyway, how do you manage to travel from one world to another? With magic. I'm a witch. Voila! There's nothing more to know about me. Alice seems to be disappointed, I guess. Will can learn how to use magic? No, you can't. Only I am able to do it because I'm special. I'm the chosen one. I see. I totally get it. You should have told me this sooner instead of rambling. I hate you all so much sometimes. Well, tell me about Uchronia. Like I said earlier, Uchronias can be defined as events, most often paradoxical ones, lost in time. I especially focus on fairy tales, not only because they are extremely well suited for the exercise, but because everyone thinks they already know about them. Which means you probably think you know everything about the original fairy tales, right? However, there are dozens and dozens and dozens of versions for each story, and they all come from various lands in the same country. Sometimes the story can unfold in an entirely different way. If you think about it, how can you tell what is wrong and what is right? I've got the answer. Really? Today, I'm going to show you the truth behind a fairy tale you must have heard about. I'm going to show you what really happened. And you will realize that different versions of the story do not necessarily contradict each other. It's actually quite the contrary. They are all true at the same time. I am not sure I understand what truth there is in fairy tales. You will understand when we get there. Trust me. There, take this. A new file has been added to your archives. Each time you will be confronted with a lesser-known fairy tale, you will be able to take a look at my notes. It's not much, but I hope you will find them instructive. Well, tell me more about what happens next. You are a curious kind. I like that. To be honest, I'd rather have active and keen companions, ready to face up to any challenge. It's a lot better than having lazy ones who just follow you without ever saying a word. I hope this means you're in the former category. Well, anyway, we're both going to go to the purification hall, and I will perform a ritual to take your soul with me. Without your spectral body, you will just a drifting perspective, a mere spectator. I will let you witness the events of the story without intervening. The rest will be up to you. When we get to the fairy tale world, you are bound to witness key moments in the story that are similar to what you have experienced in your own past. The difficulty is that you obviously don't know what is going to lead you to your identity. Everything is going to come down to a feeling. In other words, not much. That's why I have developed a tool to make your pilgrimage a little easier. Take this. It is a piece of rock crystal. Its properties are rather special as it has been infused with magic. Memory fragment detected. As soon as you will reach a key moment, the crystal will resonate with your lost memories, and the screen, your surroundings will light up like this to warn you. The screen! Yeah, the screen indeed. Once you have correctly identified a key moment, the real hard work begins. To get a chance to retrieve your memory, you absolutely need to grab the memento, which is the material or immaterial source of the alert. If you're not sure what you should do when the crystal starts to flicker, try to click, touch everything you see. You may come upon the memento by chance. Okay, regardless, the memento will instantly turn into a quartz after being found. Once the tale is over, we will come back here and I will transform all your quartz into true memories. The more you have in your possession, the more chances you get to piece the puzzle back together and remember who you used to be. I'm counting on your alertness to bring back as many as possible. So, 0/4. If you have any doubt, the fragments you have collected are viewable at any time from your satchel. Practical, isn't it? Incidentally, the rock crystals I'm lending you provides plenty of potentially interesting information. You can use it to have an idea of what your progression in the fairy tales is, for example. Recently, it has also started detecting strange little creatures who are hiding everywhere in the backgrounds. I call them elementals because they are spirits based off the 4 elements: water, fire, wind, and earth. But quite frankly, I do not know why the rock crystal has decided to reveal those elemental spirits. Maybe you will obtain something if you manage to collect them all. Okay, that's the hidden object that we need to click. Yeah, I'm good at. Anyway, it's easy to let yourself get carried away by the story and miss the memory fragments, so keep your eyes open. I think we are done with the questions. Are you satisfied with my answers? That's a lot. That's a lot of answers. Yeah, I think so. It's quite hard to determine what I could ask since this whole world is a mystery in itself. You have probably already thought about everything I could think of, and I bet you would like to know the answers as much as I do. Indeed, as you may have noticed, though one eventually gets used to living in purgatory, that does not mean we have no interest in learning more when possible. Anyway, I think you're ready, and we don't have any time to waste. Follow me to the temple. We'll perform the ritual right away. With a lovely smile on her face, Liz stretched a hand towards me and I took it. Though I do not understand everything about the purgatory I was in, I felt like I had nothing to lose by following her. With an anxious heart, I went to the temple to look for my past. Am I even capable of remembering, of atoning for my sins? Don't be afraid. You're not alone. This is the mirror of your soul. Let's visit the... What? That's a bit too fast. Sorry. Once upon a time, in a land far, far away. Descendant of a great family from Mauritania who had settled in Europe, the princess was as wise as she was beautiful. With her thirst for justice and strong personality, she was soon handed the reins of the country. Her wealth came from a magical donkey she had inherited from her ancestors. The animal could produce gold and jewels at will. She collected them to erect roads and buildings which would serve the interests of her people. Under her reign, works of art and projects of all sorts were developed. Her people lived without ever having to fear hunger since she always found a solution. The attention she had for her people, as well as the vast power her wealth gave her, made the young princess hugely respected across the country, and everybody praised her. The stained glass picture is very lovely. It is very good. God seemed keen on satisfying her in return. The princess indeed fell deeply in love with a young, inexperienced but honest noble who had eyes for nobody else. He was from a famous family of 12 sons. Since he was one of the last born, he lacked attention and desire to settle far from them so he could write his own tale. Very little time, yep. He was from a famous family of yeah, I already read that. From their marriage, a lovely daughter was born, and she was already on the path to become as wise and brave as her mother. Year after year, the king and queen ruled together as fairly as possible. The magical donkey, from which came their wealth, was treated well, and the couple's life seemed perfectly desirable. A magical atmosphere hung over the realm, and there were rumors the queen had to be part fairy to match success in everything she was doing. No other country looked more like a fairy tale come true than this one. As the couple was enjoying their life, full of ideas to make their country a better place, misfortune eventually struck. The queen, who everyone thought invulnerable, fell critically ill. Even though the king called the best physicians in the world, nobody was able to find a cure for the sickness that was devouring the queen from the inside. Days passed, citizens were getting more and more restless, and the family more and more depressed, but to no avail. Realizing she was going to draw her last breath, the queen spoke to her husband on her deathbed. She was still young, and she would have gladly kept working on all major undertaken projects. But she was even more remorseful for leaving her husband and her daughter so soon, as she loved the both of them so tenderly. So many things to do, so many memories to have, so many beautiful moments to live. Alas, pain was carving a deep chasm into her chest. As the king was leaning over and stretching a hand towards her, with the saddest look he ever had, She was struggling to tell him her last wills, her face partially paralyzed, ridden with painful spasms. The queen exhaled excruciating moans. My dear, this is the end for me. Hush, do not say a thing. Do not wear yourself out. I still believe. I have to believe. We will find a cure, and you will be better soon, I promise. It's hopeless. I know this. No, I cannot believe it. Before I depart, I would like you to do something for me. I love you, you know it, and I love the young princess too. I cannot stand imagining you crying over my death for too long. I want you to be happy above all else. What are you trying to imply, my dear? I know how you are. You will not be able to accept my death. You have always searched for my eyes, for my attention. I already know all too well how sad you will be. But you will not be able to mourn my death until the end of time. I would rather follow you in death than live without you, my lady. How silly of you. The kingdom needs you. Our daughter needs you. Do not leave them behind, even for my sake. But sooner or later, you will have to overcome my death. I want you to live, my beloved. I want you to live for me. I will never stop thinking about you. In that case, please allow me to request something. I insist that you remarry. Find someone who will make you happy again. Someone who can take my place in the eyes of the people of our daughter, the princess. But I cannot do this. Nobody will ever replace you in my heart. I know it's painful. It is painful for me as well. Deep down, I feel so angry imagining you in the arms of someone else. But I am not selfish. I want you to be happy above anything else. If I am not here anymore, I at least want a woman as wise as me to know how to heal your heart. This is my last wish. How could I fulfill such a cruel request? You are the one whom my heart craves, the only one. The queen laughed sadly. Fever and pain were gnawing at her. Soon, it became near impossible for her to talk. Her eyes were getting more and more obfuscated to the point that she was unable to make out her husband's grieving face as he cried beside her. Stretching hands toward him, toward the light, she tried rubbing her cheek one last time. Regretful, she could not help silently shedding tears. The aching was becoming so intense, she was gradually losing her touch with reality. My fate is such a cruel one. I only want to live by your side, to bask in your innocent smile for all eternity. Yet, I have to go. That is God's will. I do not want to, of course I do not. It is too soon. There is still so many things I have to do here. It is too late, however. I cannot do anything but face it. The mere idea of being replaced is harrowing. To imagine someone else living in my quarters, ordering my retainers, settling in my home. To think about someone else in your arms, embracing you, kissing you, giving you new hairs. To think about someone else gaining the affection of my daughter, attending her wedding, raising and supporting her. It is making me die inside. Jealousy is eating what remains of me. I would rather still be here. I would rather have lived those beautiful days forever. But it is impossible. No, even if it pains me, even if the thought is unbearable, you must find happiness. You must forget me. And that is so painful to me. You probably thought I would face death with dignity, that I would be stoic and calm. That is how people see me. However, I am only human after all. I wish I had been more righteous, but I miss this pain that is tearing my body to dust. All that remains are regrets. Thus, they bid a tearful farewell to each other. Some time later, the queen died in unbearable suffering, and the king was inconsolable. As sensitive and deeply in love as he was, he considered that no girl from any good family could ever rival his late wife. He consequently refused to remarry and swore never change his mind. The whole kingdom was mourning the death of its queen. One of the greatest ceremonies ever made was organized in her honor. It went on for several days and nights. Whether farmer or merchant, rich or poor, each citizen took part in the funeral. They decorated the city with lanterns in several places. Some water lanterns were even put on the great lake for her sake. At night, the candles could be seen all the way from the Lord's castle. The young princess, who was as sorrowful as her father, found comfort in admiring those lights. Those flickering lights looked like spots of hope to her. However, the country seemed to be consumed by a steadfast evil, harbinger of storms. Thus, things would never be same again. As the years passed by, the kingdom slowly declined. The king had lost any hint of motivation and could not bring himself to do anything since his wife had died. He cancelled all the great works the country was working on, thinking they had all lost meaning without her, and he locked himself up in the stillness and silence. The citizens felt neither heard nor supported, and discontent was growing. Yet the king did not care. It almost seemed like he was trying to be hated by his people. Only the magical donkey was keeping the kingdom from going bankrupt. However, the inevitable happened. The donkey's fame went beyond the king's borders, and several neighboring and wealth-seeking lords tried to invade the lands, leaving them scarred by wars. The once lively castle was now a shadow of its former self. Artists and merchants were fleeing one after another, looking for more auspicious lands. The people had lost all faith in their lord. That's a lot. At first, the king's apathy and experience were convenient for the nobles. Since he was handling the country rather poorly and was showing no sign of resistance, opportunistic counselors took advantage of the situation to seize control of the realm and get richer behind his back. Yeah, I think ad will come. Ad break will come. So we will do the ad break for 3 minutes first because yeah, the rest is needed. This is a really good story. I'm intriguing. I'm intrigued by the story, honestly. How it is going, like the afterlife part and the fairy tale part. I am intrigued. Let me save first. Then after that, I think let's go for the ad break for 3 minutes. Then we will continue after this. I need to get some hydration a bit. Yeah, I am a bit too too invested, honestly. But it's good. Yeah, but it's good. Okay. See you in 3 minutes. Okay, I am back from the break. I got a good teh kotak here, the box tea, and I already drank some one glass of water too, so it should be good. Let's continue. Okay. Mm-hmm. The nobles. Okay, let's back in here. However, the decadent mood was not so convenient anymore. After some time, but was it not already too late? The councillors realized that there was nothing to be expected from the current king, who had become impassive. They had to do something fast for greater good. Factions appeared. Some thought the king could still take care of the realm until the princess' wedding with whom would become the new king. Others precisely hoped for the princess to seize the throne earlier than expected, while some others advised the king to find a new wife who could revive his will, or even that he go back to his homeland and leave the country with a new government. Sorry. Okay, the most extremist nobles had no problem suggesting taking care of the king once and for all, but that last option would not satisfy anyone. They all lived in wake of the previous queen, and they all wanted to honor her memory, but no one seems to understand what she had been trying to build. A new file has been added to the archives and this song title. Okay, archive. This is not archive, really? Or this is an archive? Because of those long struggles, King Thibaut was asked to find a new wife day after day. However, he was still obstinately refusing to do so. His most faithful consorts were growing desperate. Okay, uh, this is safe, so let me save first. Then this is setting, this is close, I guess. Bottom right corner. Okay. So this one. Oh, text log and extras. Ah, okay. That's archive. Thank you, Helia. Thank you. Ah, okay. So archive is like this. Oh, that's interesting. Yeah, let me read this. Gustav Dore, Frontispiece Introduction. Where you come from, you must have certainly heard of Charles Perrault insofar as his work Mother Goose Tales 16797 is universally read. You think that you know all there is to know about fairy tales thanks to his legacy when it is, in fact, a far more extensive and complex subject than it appears. Perrault indeed takes his inspiration from oral traditions and folklore from his country, yet he does not give a faithful interpretation of them. On the contrary, he rewrites them as he wishes with a fashionable style specific to his time. Thus, there are numerous adaptations, translations, and reworkings of the same stories each time. Fairy tales are not frozen. Each province, each country, possesses its own variations that sometimes merge together in a surprising way. Consequently, it is almost impossible to find the defined origin of a tale, even more so when there are traces of said tale in several distant countries around the same time. It is for all these reasons that I invite you to travel with me. In addition to helping you collect your lost memory, maybe this Uchronia will make you discover the richness and diversity of fairy tales. In any case, that is all I wish you. Oh, interesting. Interesting. Les petites coudes. I guess. Yeah. In Tales from Earth and Sea 1883, folklorist Paul Sebilo tells a Breton story that is quite similar to Beauty and the Beast, except for a few key details. A king and a queen have two daughters called Dawn and Dusk. They give preference to the eldest as she is the prettiest and love her more than her sister. In order to marry Dawn, they organize a great ball and are very pleased to note that a swarm of suitors are gathering around her. However, as time passes, suitors gradually turn their back on her because she is hardly amiable, preferring the youngest. If Dusk admittedly proves to be slightly less beautiful, she is in reality witty and full of grace, so much that everyone enjoys her company better. Irate to see their favorite ignored, the king and queen resolve to get rid of her rival. Under the flimsy excuse of paying a visit to her godmother, they send her in the forest. They send her in the forest in the dark of night. Dawn and Dusk, Aurore and Crépuscule in French, have quite the appropriate names. One embodies the morning's brightness, the other the evening's simplicity. The youngest daughter nevertheless remains the true protagonist of this story. That's an interesting take, honestly. That's interesting. But yeah, now I know where is the archive. Thank you, Helia, to let me know. Yep, that's correct. I like that so much. And gallery. Ah, this is the gallery. The image gallery that we get. We can see them. Ah, that is nice. The stained glass illustrations, character illustrations. Oh, that's a lot. Purgatory illustrations. Okay. Okay, that's great. Now let's continue the story. Wait. Let me drink a bit, then let's continue the story. Okay. 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 His most faithful counselors were growing desperate. But your excellency, the whole kingdom's fate is at stake. You cannot remain passive while some of are scheming for your death or your replacement. Exactly, your lack of action is folly. You must just someone to live by your side to put an end to these complaints weighing on your shoulders. I do not care. Let them kill me if this is what they want. To follow my queen is my only wish. You cannot say that, your excellency. The queen will always think of the kingdom's best interests. If you give up the realm, you betray her memory. So be it. Your goal is to share the passion for lesser known fairytales, so I felt that it was the best way to do so. Yep, that is very nice, Helia. Thank you for that. Also, hello Gaby, welcome. Good morning. If you do not wish to manage the kingdom, then why keep this masquerade going? You should have married the princess off much earlier. Think of your daughter. It is the time for her to see something else. My daughter, the princess, may hate me for all I care. My whole kingdom too. Nobody will ever be as great as my departed wife. But my lord... Enough! I do not want to see any more for today. Be gone. Leave me alone. Hello, Canoli. Horrified, the counselors could feel the kingdom's ruin looming. Well, some were already planning a coup d'etat and were fighting over some arbitrary throne. The loyalists thought they had to find a way to pierce through the king's walls. To get a better understanding of the king's psyche, they called an old druid. Go and try to convince King Tipo to find a new wife. We are ready to do anything to make him change his mind, regardless of who would be the wife he chooses. Do not worry, sirs. Just sit by. The druid, who was dishonest but quite crafty, happened to be peerless when it came to influencing the human soul. As soon as he appeared before the gloomy king, he made a great impression thanks to the mysterious look he had perfected. Your Highness, your counselors invited me here today because they are worried about your health. Speak freely. What is waiting on your heart? The death of my wife, of course. I have lost any desire to live since she died in my arms. I cannot see nor hear. I keep on brooding over the past, again and again. I understand. The Queen's ghost still haunts you, and you are the prisoner of the past. Yet, could this spell be broken? You wish for the good of the kingdom, do you not? Not really. I wanted to follow through with her work. I wanted to be strong. But I let myself be shut away by time and decay. It's far too late now. If I may, I think there is a solution. You have to find a young woman who can become the new queen. No one can do it. Sorry. I have taken a look at the portraits of all neighboring girls from good family who were ready to be wed. They have been sent to me, all of them. There is not a single woman with her qualities. Yet you do not wish to meet any of them. Why not give them a chance to show who they are? It does not matter. I already know it. Could it be that you are taking the Queen's last wish to heart, and you are only ready to wed a far more beautiful woman than she was? Beauty is indeed enjoyable, but I do not really care about it. I only ask her to be wise, smart, and righteous. Are you looking for someone who shares her traits? The king stood still. Given the awkward silence, the druid knew he was right. The king did not just want any princess in the area. He wanted someone who looked like his departed wife as much as possible. And if there were a Moorish princess, would you consider marrying her? Maybe. Ah. Then, Your Highness, I know only one such person. One righteous and wise princess who looks exactly like our departed queen. She lives near you at the moment. And who might she be? I have a portrait of her with me. I think it is the only one you did not glance at. Really? Why would my counselors hide this mysterious princess from me? See for yourself. The ambitious druid handed the portrait to the aging king. He grabbed it and paced up and down across the room in a revealing silence. She is magnificent. This face, this skin, this expression. She is lovely. And you're telling me that she is wise and righteous? Absolutely, Your Highness. She has received the best education. I recognize these eyes. I could swear I'm looking at my wife. How is this possible? Who is this foreign girl? She is Princess Kiona, your daughter, your majesty. My daughter? The king was shocked for a split second. Depression had taken hold of him to the point of cutting him off from reality. To be honest, he had refused to see his daughter since the queen's funeral because her mere presence reminded him of those beautiful days forever lost. He did not even know what she looked like or what kind of woman she had become. He suddenly felt shameful. Are you making a fool of me, Druid? Are you telling me to marry my own daughter? Admittedly, it must sound rather extreme. But think about it, your highness. Is there someone else who could look more like your departed wife than her? Is it not troubling? I would even say it is a gift from God. A divine gift, you say? Princess Kiona looks too much like her departed mother for it to be a mere coincidence. This is God's will. The queen's soul did not go to heaven. It settled in that younger tailor-made body. She is simply waiting for you to find her, my lord. Do not miss this second chance. Very devious, Druid. Yep, this is very devious, Druid. This is very devious, Druid. Okay, let me go back to the usual place. Confused by the old druid's silver-tongued words, King Thibaut hesitated and eventually sent the man away, claiming he would think about it. But the seed had already been planted. Weakened by his unstable state, the king was already struggling not to completely succumb to despair. The flickering hope the swindling druid had brought to him was enough to make the king fall into darkness. Little by little, over the course of the increasingly frequent visits from the man who would become his confidant, the king started to give in to the idea. The druid had a way of implying that the young princess was actually the reincarnation of her mother and that she surpassed her in everything. So much so that the impressionable king eventually believed him. This new obsession was the only thing which was keeping him alive from this point forward. And thus, he did the unforgivable. Domestic life. The song is cute. For a moment, the druid was gonna subject necromancy. Yeah, I was thinking that too. But yeah. That morning, a sweet scent hung in the castle corridors. The azure sky hinted at the beautiful spring day ahead. In the feeble light illuminating a four-poster bed, a silhouette was quietly moaning. All of a sudden, hurried footsteps could be heard nearby, and the door was slammed open. A breathless young retainer entered the suite. Hey, hello. Princess, it's time to wake up! Muffled groan was her only answer. I would love to let you sleep, but I cannot do so, unfortunately. Do not forget that your private tutor has scheduled a lesson for this morning. The figure moved laboriously. Is that you, Naima? Who else, princess? I'm the one waking you up every morning. Now, please make haste and get out of bed. We need to perform your toilet. The young woman stood up without a word and let her lady-in-waiting guide her. Through precise and vigorous gestures, she made her take a bath, then took care of dressing her. Just as the retainer was going to brush her hair, Fiona finally seemed to get out of her torpor. What is that flowery stand that has been tickling my nose since this morning? It must be verbenas, princess. It is season after all. Verbenas are quite executive flowers, do you not think? All these colors... Maybe... I see that you are not fully awake yet. Did you happen to spend a round night? I do not know. All that I remember is that I dreamt for quite a long time. And what did you dream about, princess? What to choose? That I was with you. Some choices will impact the story later on. Okay. Interesting. We were both in a vast flower field on a sunny day. I think you were weaving a crown while claiming me your queen. It almost sounds romantic. Romantic, I did not know. However, I clearly remember that I was feeling incredibly serene. Do you think that this is a good omen? Assuredly. In any case, that is all I wish you. Your dream was surely very pleasant, princess, but you should not fall asleep again. Do not forget that your lesson is supposed to start soon. Do not worry about me, Nahima. I am quite positive the poor sod will be late again anyway. Princess, you should not speak ill of your tutor. He is an excellent teacher. What has he planned for today? I do not know. We have completely given up on arithmetic over the past couple of days, and we are now focusing on practicing singing and playing the harp. You are only studying music? Why this sudden change? It is a request from my father, or so it seems. I do not know why. I have not seen him for years. I thought he had no more interest in me. I'm sure the king is simply a bit shy. Though he can get on his high horse, he may not even dare to be near you after your mother's death. I think he resents me. Why would that be? One way or another, he must be ashamed of me. He surely found a mistress after all this time, and sooner or later, he will tell me what he wants to repudiate me. That would not be correct of him. In that case, why has he not tried to marry me off? I am 17 years old. Isn't it not unusual? I do like the freedom, but I cannot shake the feeling that it is a bad omen. After all, young girls from good families are wed between 12 and 14 years old. I am getting old, and at this rate, nobody will ever want to marry me. With a lovely face like yours, perish the thought. You are as beautiful as an angel, princess. And smart as that. No prince should ever refuse your hand. Thank you, Naima. It is nice of you to comfort me. You know I mean it. Look at that beautiful hair. I could brush it for hours without getting bored. Kiana gave a faint but tender smile. Nahima had been her lady-in-waiting, her personal assistant, and her confidant for many years. As far as she could remember, they had been inseparable. Older by only 2 years, Nahima happened to share the heir's Mauritanian origins. However, unlike Fiona's family, which had always consisted of famous nobles, Nahima's humbler family has settled in the region as retainers. The late queen herself had trusted the young Mauritanian servant, and that was how she had become the princess lady in waiting, despite her humble origins. She was now greatly enjoying taking care of the princess, and the sudden death of the queen had only brought them closer. It was, without a doubt, Nahima's optimism and kindness that were allowing Kiona to live a comfortable life despite the grim state of the country. Between the lessons intended to own her knowledge and the time spent with her retainer, the heiress was not lacking in anything. Yet, she was feeling deeply bored, and to her dismay, no party could ever awaken the sleeping castle. If things keep going like this, I am going to die of old age within these walls, she thought. A bit melancholic. No one will ever look for me. No one will ever come to save me, and I will end up alone in this depressing place. She didn't want to show Naima her anguish, so she tried her best to smile. With the brushing done, the two girls left the room to attend to their occupations. Princess's supers. Once the servant was out of sight, the princess sighed. Even though Naima was her confidant and she trusted her, there was one thing Kiona had never told her. Something was troubling her. She sometimes felt like she was being watched, especially on a day like this one. As the weather was sunny, her tutor enjoined her to go to the palace inner garden to begin her recital. And as she had foreseen, the princess felt someone insistently looking at her while as she was singing, a gaze that was coming from the king's cabinet. Yeah, the king too. As usual, the king was observing his daughter from afar, staring at her with a desire that was not hidden anymore. The old truth had grinded him down, and now the king was as desperate as he was convinced. He had to marry her. That day, his counselors had gathered at his request. He was going to inform them of his decision. The mood was heavy. Everyone felt something major was about to happen, and they were as worried as they were eager to hear what the king had to say. Okay. Thank you all for coming. As you know, many of you have been begging me to remarry. Until now, I was quite against it as I wanted to keep the promise I had made to my late wife. However, I have finally found someone worthy of replacing her and sitting beside me on the throne. A round of applause filled the room. The counselors seemed both incredulous and ecstatic. Thank you for making that decision, Your Highness. You may have thought of us as insensitive, but we were only doing it for your sake and the kingdom's. Absolutely, and we are sure the women you have chosen will be up to the task. Could you tell us who the lady who managed to entice you might be? Of course, I will not hide the truth for much longer. She whom my heart has chosen is Princess Kiona, and I hereby officially announce my decision to marry her. In a shared movement of fear, all the counselors fell silent. Some thought they had misheard, others that it was a misunderstanding. One brave soul decided to break the ice and shyly asked, Princess Kiona? Your daughter? My daughter, indeed. Loud whispers filled the king's cabinet. A mix of horror and bewilderment could be seen on the faces of the nobles. Time seemed to have stopped, and the cheerings had been replaced by contempt and cold glares. Another counselor dared to speak. But your highness, with all due respect, you cannot marry your own daughter. The church says... Did you not swear a few seconds ago to accept my choice, whatever it would be? Are you never satisfied? I am finally fulfilling your wish, and this is still not enough. You rascals! Be gone, and no, I will not change my mind. I will propose to Kiona this very day. Thus, the councillors were chased from the king's cabinet like criminals. Gathered in the corridor, they soon began arguing aloud, exposed to all the retainers who were passing by. And we got our archive. Let me save a bit. Let's check the archive. Donkeyskin. Okay. So, Gustav Dore Donkeyskin. Donkeyskin 1694 is one of Charles Perrault's first fairy tales. Originally published in rhyme, there is a later version written in prose, but its authenticity has never been established. Donkeyskin tells the story of a great monarch, virtuous in every way. He owns a curious donkey, which, instead of emitting faces, produces golden coins as well. The animal is treated with regard, as it is the source of the kingdom's wealth and prosperity. Unfortunately, the king's happiness is short-lived as the queen falls critically ill one day. Dying, she makes him promise to never remarry unless it is with a woman even more beautiful than her, as she secretly thinks he will never succeed. The sovereign agrees and grieves for her loss, but his mourning only lasts a few months. He is quick to move on and seeks a new spouse who would have more attractive traits than the previous one. Since no maiden is able to suppress the Light Queen, he eventually turns to his own daughter, who meets all criteria and decides to marry her. In the original, the king simply consults a casuist to ensure the legality of his endeavor. In the prose version, it is an old druid who deprives the king of any qualm concerning his evil deed. In both cases, he seemed to fall in love with the poor princess with disconcerting speed. Yes, that is very disconcerting. Anyways, let's read again. Okay, we already read this one, then let's go to the next one. The king has gone crazy. We had warned you. We should have gotten rid of him. You fools, this is your fault. The dread you paid so generously is a sham. He put some devilish thoughts into his head. Look at the result. It is just a sleight of hand. By marrying the princess, he is trying to keep the kingdom under his yoke. Once the wedding is consummated, we will not be able to exile him anymore. Not will we be able to ally with Kiona to take back power. We are at his mercy. It is still possible to appoint an assassin and... Enough! It is because you extremists that we are in this bind. Really? If you schemers had managed to come to an agreement, maybe we would not be here. Us? Are you not the ones who let the druid do as he pleases? Let us face the fact. You loyalists are at fault. They soon came to blows, and the news quickly spread in the whole castle like wildfire. As she was coming back from her tutor, Princess Kiona took the opportunity to wander in the near empty palace, still in melancholic mood. Once again, she had felt her father observing her, whether it be while singing in the garden or later that day during other lessons. He had never stopped staring at her. She had noticed his behavior for quite some time, and she could not help but feel a deep unease. Was he, the man she had not seen for so many years, interested in her again? Was it an awkward way for him to make amends, as Nahima had said? Or was it for a further reason? Kiona had a bad feeling about this. Some other day, she would have dismissed those doubts, but today was special. All day long, she had been under the impression that the servants were whispering things in her path. Something weird was definitely going on. With a knot in her stomach, she shook her head nervously. Sorry, I got the drink again. I stood. Sorry. I should stop thinking about it. It can only hurt me. She suddenly noticed that the castle was bathing in sunset. Already that late? I must make haste. I promised Nahima I would pay her a visit. As the princess was walking toward the castle's kitchen, where most of the retainers were at that time of the day, she felt a presence behind her back. Reflexively, she turned back and caught a glimpse of a man standing before her. Her heart skipped a beat like never before due to this surprise. Astounded, she tried to fan herself to get rid of the warmth that was spreading through her whole body. She needed a few seconds to recognize this solemn man, but any possible doubt had vanished. It was the king. Uh, Father, I have not seen you in so many years. Are you surprised, my daughter? Well, you seem to be avoiding me since the death of mother. I regret that very much. Have I made you suffer? Yes, father. I just want to speak with you again, if possible. All these years, I was only inhabited by loneliness and bitterness. I did not want to see you to see me like this. But today, I have decided this cannot continue. I am glad to hear that, father. Still petrified because of how surreal the scene was, Kiona politely answered while taking a closer look at the old man's faded and worn-out face. Had he always looked that tired, that aloof? She could not remember. The unexpected presence of the king could have been a great moment of happiness for the young woman, but in the shadows of the looming night, she could glimpse a red light in his eyes, a crazed and bloodthirsty light. With each word, the king was getting closer, looking more and more threatening, like a raven spreading out its wings. The unease did not leave Kiona's fluttering heart. Is this why you have come to see me, father? As a token of reconciliation? Better than that, you want to be in my side, do you not? I know of a way to bring us closer, but this hope rests on you. Do you love me? I love you, like a daughter must love her father. This is not what I want to hear. I love you, my daughter, and I have decided to marry you. Kiona could feel her blood rushing through her veins. Cold sweat was running down her spine. She did not want to believe it. My apologies, father, but the church teachings... I do not care about those. Forget them. I love you and I want to make you my spouse. But I cannot. That would be a crime. He cut her pleading short with a voice as sharp as steel. I think you do not quite understand. You will marry me whether you want not to or not. I have your life in my hands. You have no choice but to obey me. Terrified, Kiona glanced around her, but there was no way to escape. The king's imposing stature was blocking the corridor. Yet, an overwhelming urge to run away was tormenting her from inside. She had to find a way. She tried to negotiate. Please, at least give me some time to think about it. The old king scowled at her, displeased. You have 1 hour. No more, no less. I will be in your bedchamber. Finish thinking about my proposal by then. What the hell? 1 hour? Seriously? Then he turned around and walked away, his cloak floating through the wind, leaving the princess lost and shocked. As he was vanishing from her field of vision, turned red by dusk, she let herself fall on the ground. Achievement: a dreadful marriage proposal. This is not what I wanted. Leaving the princess to her sorrow, the old king went back to the druid who had advised him so well. Druid, my confidant, speak frankly. Is my love for Kiona sinful? Not if your feelings are mutual, your highness. Has she become enamored with you? I do not know. She seems confused, shaken. Am I making a mistake? Her confusion is only natural, your highness. The princess is still young. She cannot analyze her feelings well yet. With some time, she will perfectly get used to it. So I must give her time? More than time, she needs to forget her lyric dance. For that reason, you should, for instance, answer to her every whim. If you shower her with presents, she will soon understand how strong your love is, your highness. I will keep that advice in mind for after the wedding. But tell me, do you have a daughter? Unfortunately, I do not, your highness. But believe me, if I had one, I would not think twice before marrying her. Yeah, this druid is very deceitful and very terrible. Pleased with the druid's cajolery, King Thibaut got out of his cabinet, even more determined than before to make his daughter yield. After that overwhelming encounter, to say the least, Fiona went almost mechanically to her bedroom. Then she silently sat on her bed like a dislocated automaton. She found a bit of comfort in her misfortune. She now understood why the king seemed so weirdly reticent to marry her off. He wanted her for himself. But it was not morally acceptable. After all, he was the man who had conceived her, and the principles she had been taught were quite clear about this. Had he grown crazy? Was he trying to damn her to hell? A rush of disgust violently seized her throat. No, this was not right. Deep in morbid thought, the princess hardly noticed the sound of hurried footsteps coming closer. The grating noise of the door made her jolt. Was he already? Fortunately, it was just Nahima who seemed as scared as her. Oh, princess, I have just heard the news from the mouth of another servant. I came here as fast as I could. Thank you, Nahima, but your effort was vain. My father told me I had no choice, and that he would marry me, whether I want it or not. The hour for thought I requested is almost over. There is nothing we can do. Do not say that, princess. There is still some hope left. He will be here in a matter of minutes. I will never be able to find a solution in such a short time. Time is what we need. Like my mother always said, it is not good to think in haste. We have to find a way to buy time to get yourself off the hook. How can I buy time without upsetting him? He seems as hurried as he is irritated. If I were to ask him for another delay, he would certainly refuse. That is why you have to be sly. Rather than directly asking for more time, pretend you demand a gift from him as a token of goodwill. A gift? That is to say? As for something so rare and complex, it will be almost impossible for him to obtain it. Thus, even if he managed to give it to you, you would have bought quite some time nonetheless. And if he does not keep his commitment, then it is even better. That is a good idea. However, I have to find something to ask him without sounding suspicious. If I were to request some for Eastern China from him, he could argue that this is not necessary or promise to buy some after our wedding. You're right. Naima rubbed her chin with a pensive look. Time. We need time. All of a sudden, she clapped her hands. I know, princess. Demand that he gives you a dress the color of time. It's common for a future bride to want new clothes to appear a proper lady in the arms of her spouse. He will not be able to refuse. And since time has no color, no tailor, even a fairy one, will ever manage to craft such a dress. Oh, Nahima, you are a genius! Under the rifles of relief, Fiona flew into her retainer's arms, who consequently went as red as a beetroot. Princess, please, this was nothing. The two girls were so happy they failed to notice the sound of footsteps in the corridor in time. Someone knocked at the door. This time, there was no place for doubt. It was the king. My daughter, are you here? Quick, Naima, hide under the bed. We cannot let him know you are here. No sooner said than done. Naima slipped under the wooden frame. The white bed sheets easily covered her, and Kiona only had to adjust their length to be sure she could not be seen. I am coming, father. With shaky hands, The princess opened the door and let the king come in. His eyes were as piercing and hard as an hour ago. She could not help but gulp. So, have you considered my proposal? Yes, father. After pondering the issue, I have come to the conclusion that I cannot appear by your side without clothes fit for a queen. I want to honor you, and that is why I would like to slightly renew my wardrobe before the wedding. The druid's advice immediately came to the old king's mind. The young woman was certainly about to express some whims of hers, and he could not pass on such an occasion to earn her trust. Thus, the king carefully listened to her. Please speak frankly, dear daughter. I am listening, and I will try my best to fulfill whatever wish you have. Father, please bear that I ask of you a dress the color of time. The color of time? What a strange whim of yours! But so be it. I will stick to my word. You will have this dress tomorrow evening at the same time. And with a solemn look, he left the room, delighted by the hope the iris had given him. Nahima took advantage of this opportunity to come out of her hiding. You have been wonderful, Princess. We have managed to buy enough time to set up a plan. We still have to find one, however. It's better to sleep on it. It has been a long and intense day, and you must be exhausted. Get some rest, and we will think about it tomorrow morning. You are probably right, Nahima. With a brooding and hazy mind, the princess quickly went to bed. There had to be a way to save her. Meanwhile, the king had gathered the most talented crafters of the area, the best tailors there were, and he ordered them to make his dress in a day, otherwise they would be hanged. Terrified for their lives, they started to work right away, relentlessly working all night while cursing this weird idea. A dress, the color of time! What a caprice! More files. Whoa. I missed that. I missed that. Okay. On the dawn of the second day, the princess woke up earlier than usual. Kiana was not in the mood to stay abed. She was pressed for time, and her night had been scattered with nightmares and untimely awakenings. Okay, let me read the archive again. Fairier than a fairy. There are actually two princesses who bear that name. The one in the eponymous Fairier than a Fairy 1698 by Miss de la Force, and the one the Rainbow Prince 1718 by an anonymous author. Both have in common to have been named that way by their father because of their peerless beauty, which stirs up the fairy's wrath. It is difficult to find a more conceited name than Fairer than a Fairy. Plus cuve in French. Yeah, I am butchering the pronunciation, but I am trying. 10%. Okay, still continue a bit. Kiana, yeah, this I already read. The Fairbanks scent was getting overwhelming, almost sickening. All she wanted was for someone to help her get rid of this unbelievable situation. It's okay, I don't expect people to suddenly know how to speak French. Thank you for the understanding, Helia. Still in her dressing gown, she sat on the edge of the bed and stroked her hair, waiting for the retainer who was in charge of her toilet. After some long minutes, the door eventually opened. "Good morning, princess." "Ah, are you already awake?" Uh... Have you fallen in the saucepan? Why do you have that choice? "I do not sleep very well." Hmm. Okay, so that is the choice that we remember. "I had a horrible night, Nahima. I could not get any rest." I am checking. If I... what is going to happen to me? "I'm sorry to hear that, princess. I understand that you are troubled by your father's proposal, but we have to keep calm to find a plan of action." "Know that you are not alone. I am with you and I am not going to let you down." "You're probably right as usual. Thank you, Nahima. I really do not know what I would do without you." The young servant squirmed with an embarrassed look. "Oh, princess, this is not time for flattery. First, I have to take care of your toilet." A little silly during tough times. Yes. The lady in waiting sat to do her work, all the while still talking. Yep, at break soon, I guess. "I have thought a lot about this myself, princess. And I believe it would be wiser to tell your private tutor that you are sick. It would grant us more leeway to conduct some research." "A very good idea, Nahima. Do you already know what to do?" Anyways, Adbrick is here, so let me save first. And let me get more drinks. And yeah, see you after the ad break. Let me drink a bit and get some stretching. Yes, stretching. Okay, I am back. Then I think I can do it one more hour. So let's see. Yep, one more hour. Then I need to rest after that. It is a really good one. I enjoyed reading this and vocalizing each character. I enjoyed that so much. So yeah, let's continue. Okay, Nahima. Uh, 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 uh. You will probably not believe me, but I saw your mother in a dream last night, and I remember something. After your birth, it was said that she had given you the fairy's blessing. The fairy's blessing? It is just a rumor, but there should be some truth in that statement. If your mother did leave something useful to you, we could use it to save you. Kiona skeptically stared at the young Moor. I would love to believe in magic too, but these are old legends, and I am too old to be fooled by this nonsense. Naima raised her voice while making wild frenetic gestures. I know it must sound ridiculous, but I believe in those legends. I think your mother had the fairy's blessing and passed it on to you, and I am even ready to prove it. And how are you going to do that? I am going to leave the castle for the day and investigate in the nearby hamlets. I'm sure some old countrywoman will be able to give me information about the true meaning of this rumor. In that case, I'm going to have a look around the great library. Maybe some dusty books will teach me how to get rid of the madness that has taken hold of my father. Let us part ways and meet again tonight in my bedroom to talk about our findings. May the best of us win. It's a deal then. You seem quite confident, princess. But do not underestimate the power of old legends. Magic does exist, and I will prove it. Once done with the toilet, Nahima parted from the princess and quite quickly set off, convinced she had found the best lead. Left to her own devices, the heiress sighed and went toward the library, dawdling on the way. Laziness was taking hold of her with each step, and everything seemed pointless. Her heart was looking for an escape, but her brain was telling her again and again there was no miracle she could hope for. The only thing that she could do in the meantime was to pray. The dust that welcomed her as she entered the dark room only increased her distress. Carrying a candle, she inspected the shelves, looking for a ray of hope. Most of the books the king owned were written transpositions of epic poems, lyric lays, or chivalric romances. The few treatises on science were all gathered in a small corner. Liber Simplicis Medicinae by the Abbess Hildegard of Bingen. Hildegard of Bingen, translated from German. This may be what I need. That is interesting. She sat down at a table and glanced over the book. Descriptions of plants of medicinal value were passing under her eyes, but nothing of value to her. What was I thinking? No book can get me out of this mess other than black magic or alchemy books. Am I really this desperate? Kiona closed the treaty of the medicine with a bitter put. If truth be told, she had suspected her approach would be unsuccessful, but she had hoped this false sense of action would be enough to regain her courage. What I need would be to bring my father to his senses. And there is no plan that could help me change his mind. Disheartened, the princess put the imposing tome back and decided to spend the rest of the day alone in this dark yet soothing room. To pass time and forget her sorrow, she grabs Cleges, some courtly literature she knew rather well. Was there anything better to forget the passing of time? Cleges, grandson of the Emperor Alexander of Constantinople and nephew of Gawain from the Arthurian legend, was a brave knight who achieved many feats. Wronged by his uncle Alice, he falls deeply in love with Venice, who is destined to be the bride of the former. He finds his love reciprocated, since Venice is impressed by his achievements. The lovers quietly suffer, but decide not to hide and live openly with their feelings. They hatch an escape plan so they can live freely. However, the uncle eventually dies from sorrow, which lets them seize the throne and celebrate their wedding with great fanfare. Kiona closed the book. Since her childhood, she had been told she was born to become a queen, and she always aspired to become one. She had secretly hoped to be married to a king who would be powerful but young enough. She had hoped to be bound to someone who could have feelings for her. Her chances were infinitesimal. Royal weddings were political, or above all else, there was no way to follow the wishes of the heart. Yet, that possibility still existed somewhere. There could be a Cleges waiting for her to be his Venice somewhere in this earth. Putting the tome back on the shelf, the heiress felt even more aggrieved than when she entered the library. Fleeing is never a good option, as Nahima rightly said. You forget everything for a while, but reality is just hits you more harshly thereafter. As she was returning to her bedroom, Kiona looked at the amber sky. It would be wiser not to let my father wait indefinitely. If I do not find any solution, postponing my fate would just anger him even further. While walking in the castle's corridor, the princess could not help but feel curious about the results of Nahima's investigation. It was their only lead, however implausible it could be. Oh, she's back! Once in her room, Kiona was welcomed by the great smile on her servant's face. A bit out of breath, her cheeks pink for having walked for a while, the young woman gave a triumphal look. How did your investigation go, princess? Poorly, unfortunately. What about you? Would you believe it? I managed to find all the information I wanted. Witnesses of your baptism recall seeing a fairy during the ceremony, and they confirmed that she gave you her blessing. Oh? Really? Kiona was startled. She had never been very superstitious, but like all good believers, she knew higher beings could sometimes play with humans' fates. Could it be that fairies were real after all? I swear on my life, during the great celebration that was given in your honor, all the farmers, crafters, and merchants nearby were invited. Some were given the right to get significantly close so they could see the fairy for themselves. I asked several people, so there is no doubt about it. And what do you know about this blessing? How can I use it? If I get what the grandmother told me right, the blessing allows you to invoke the fairy to your aid. Ah, this is exactly what I need, Naima. It is wonderful. You did it. Not quite, princess. I do not know how you can call your fairy godmother. I do not even know her name. That is unfortunate. If I have no way to contact her, we are back to our starting point. Not quite. Now that we know, we just have to investigate a bit further. The old narrators in the castle, those who knew your mother very well, but know how she managed to talk to that fairy. We just need a bit more time. More time? The sound of someone pounding on the door cut them short and made them jolt. When she opened the door, Kiona discovered a handful of crafters who had come to bring the dress, the color of time the king had requested. She was told to wear it and go to the royal cabinet, where she was expected. With the aching heart, the young women complied. When she entered the room wearing the dress the color of time, King Thibaut was enthralled with her charm. The workers had done an excellent job, especially on such a short notice, and the result fitted her like a glove. Shyly, she then requested a new one, frantically looking for an idea in her racing mind. She ordered that it would be the color of the moon. The king, who could not refuse her demands, immediately urged the same tailors and embroiderers that had created the previous work to come, and he gave them the same instructions. So this blue is the color of time. Interesting. Once again, fearing for their lives, they complied as quickly as possible. Thus began the same little game. And the cute song. The next day, Kiana and Ahima hurried towards the kitchens, where most of the castle's retainers met. Looking for clues, the two young women were determined to make the most of the time they were given. It has been so long since the last time I came here. This place is as restless as in my memories. It was hard not to agree with Hires. The kitchens were always strong with people, no matter the time of day. Servants were hurriedly going on and out in a great bowl of plates and utensils, while a sweet scent was in the air. The cooks gathered around the great table and chatted in a general cacophony while making the kingly meal. If the kitchens are incommodious to you, princess, you can go back to your quarters to rest. It should be alright, Nahima. We are here to investigate. I do not intend to fall at the first hurdle. Very well. Let us question the group I see over there. They seem to have the gift of the gab. Let me save. No sooner had she spoken than the lady-in-waiting led Kiona to a quieter corner of the room with a firm push of the hand. Two cooks and an assistant seemed more busy talking than peeling vegetables. Excuse me? They instinctively looked up at their interlocutor. Their expression completely changed upon noticing the princess. They all jumped in unison, and one of the cooks, bolder than her colleagues, moved forward to greet her. Eleanor, Your Majesty, it's an honor to see you among us today. May I help you with anything? Would you like to know what we are cooking for tonight's meal? Unless you are here to learn details about the preparations for your wedding ceremony? Well, actually, The other cook cleared her throat and elbowed her neighbor. Definitely the wondrous event, right, Adelphi? He answered with the same awkward tone. Absolutely, Melisande. We all are so proud of our princess. The retainers were so profusely complimenting her out of courtesy that the princess could not speak as she wanted. She still made a second attempt. To return to the reason of my presence, I would like to... Would you like me to guide you through the kitchen so that you can admire our work? Nahima came closer to Kiona and discreetly whispered to her. Princess, I am afraid that the retainers will refuse to speak in your presence. They are too scared of displeasing you. I suggest that you play along and follow Eleanor while pretending to inspect the kitchens. Meanwhile, I will question Adelphi and Melisande, who seem more flippant. I trust you. I trust you. I suppose we cannot help it. I will content myself with being the diversion. Be my eyes and ears, Nahima. I am counting on you. Thank you, Princess. I will be worthy of your trust. Have no fear. The iris used a slightly more commanding tone. Very well. Let us go, Eleanor. Show me what you are doing. Right away, Your Majesty. The shady servant took her role to heart and dragged Kiona a bit further away, to the two other retainers' relief. I thought my heart was going to burst. Tell me about it. Coming here unannounced should not be allowed. They turned to Hima with a derisive look. So what about following Her Majesty all the time? Not too hard. One wrong word and it's the dungeon for you. I would not feel at ease if I were you. Yeah, you get used to it. Tell me, you seem to know quite a lot, and as it happens, I need some information. A jeering rictus crossed Adelphi's face. Tell us, we will see what we can do for you. Have you heard this rumor saying that a fairy had been invited to Princess baptism? The two servants threw knowing looks at each other while giggling. For sure, for sure. Melisande added very seriously. We even saw the fairy. Oh, is it true? Could you tell me how to make her appear? I too would like to meet her. We cannot tell you that. Why? Information such as this needs to be handled very carefully. We have to be sure we are sincere. By doing us a favor first, for instance, I have lost my purse. If you bring it back to me, I will tell you what I know. And how am I supposed to find it? I have left it in the library on one of the desks. May I know what its contents are so I can be sure it's yours? No way, this is private matter. Retrieve it or I will not tell you anything. Well... Oh, the investigation? And talk? Okay. Other animals and they refuse to say more, leaving Nahima to build on one possibility, bringing the precious item back. Well, is that so? Okay. What is this? The retainers were working on a wooded table covered with victuals, each one more mouth-watering than the last. Victuals? Interesting. Okay, that's the same. The next one. Even if it is arduous to guess what is being stewed over the fire, the delicious odor that is coming from the pans put a stop to any thought. Oh, interesting. So we can investigate to different places. Kitchen, hallway, garden. Okay. Let's go to garden. Luxurious plants were growing in the shade of the leaves. This was the place Nahima went to every morning to pick fresh flowers that would decorate the princess' room for the day. The castle's fountain where the retainers came to draw water, which was necessary for a great number of tasks. When the weather's fair, it is tempting to come here and soak your feet in the water to cool off. Okay. I am checking if there is anything that I can click, elementals or something. Even if she was well acquainted with the place, venturing into the garden still represented a breath of fresh air in this world made of stones. This was especially true on a beautiful day like this one. But Nahima had a mission. It was in no way the time to dawdle. Okay, because this is the first one of us to go out. Maybe there is something that I can click. Maybe if I click here? No. Okay, I don't think there is anything that I can click. Back to garden. Yes, I remember to library. But I want to check if there is anything that I want to click because I remember that there is the elemental. So I don't want to miss those. Cabinet, library, bedroom, hallway. I want to check first to make sure that I don't miss anything and if there is something that I can click. Yep. Some retainers were making haste to the castle's corridors. Nothing seemed out of the ordinary. Okay. Nothing in here. So hallway is okay. Let's go to cabinet. Okay, this is the cabinet, the king's cabinet. A meeting between all the counselors seems to be taking place in the king's cabinet. Whatever the important matter at the center of the council was, the retainer did not dare approach until the assembly was over. Okay, nothing. This library, so I will visit that the last. Kitchen, bedroom. I think, bedroom. Mirror. Naima could not help but cast a glance at the dressing table to check her appearance. Almost without thinking, she passed a hand through her hair while whispering, "Will you ever notice me?" Oh, Nahima. Interesting. Okay, I don't think anything. The servant's eyes were drawn to a spray of colors. As she did every morning, she had brought a new bouquet to embellish the princess' room. Naima was especially proud of today's flower arrangement, and she was counting on doing a good job the day after as well. Oh, I see. So basically, if we spotted them, we can click. Okay, that's good. I will look if there is something. Fiona's bedroom. Since she spent most of her time here, Nahima obviously knows every nook and cranny of it. Still, there was something almost magical about sitting quietly on this great bed in the absence of the princess. That was unfortunately not enough to justify staying here when there were more urgent matters elsewhere. Hmm. Okay, I think nothing else. Oh, sorry. Okay, I think everything is okay. Let's go to the library. This seems to be the objective. So let me click the non-objective maybe. Something like this. Ah, I see. Memory fragments. As she was glancing at the well-stocked bookcases, the retainers could not help wondering if any of those books was useful to someone. Nahima had always been surprised by how flippantly the books were put in order. It exemplified all too well how neglected the library was. Okay, let's do the objective. Naima caught sight of a big leathery purse on one of the desks, just like Adelphi had told her. She took it without hesitation. With hesitation. Not without. Still, it's weird that he refused to tell me what is inside. And what would he do in the library, since he does not know how to read? Only little people come here. Lost in thought, she didn't hear the silhouette creeping behind her back. May I know what you are doing with my purse? Surprised, Naima jolted and turned back towards her interlocutor. It was a young cleric that she had never seen before. You really cannot take it. I need its contents. How can I know it's yours? Open it. I don't have nothing to hide. There is a reed pen and a clay tablet inside. This is the latest register about the distribution of the king's salt. I was looking for my equipment so that I could transcribe it on the general register in the paper format. Glancing inside the purse, Nahima had to admit the young copyist was right. I'm so sorry. Two kitchen servants told me they had lost their purse here and that I had to retrieve it for them. Adolphe and Melissa and I bet it's nothing, eh? He sat in the front of the desk, shrugging with an apathetic look. My name is Constantine. Some of the servants have taken a dislike to me since I came here. They keep playing pranks and making fun of me. I'm used to it now. The lady in waiting could not help but give a faint, sad smile. I shall let them know what I think of such behavior. That is nice of you. Well then, I have to work on my register. Have an extra day. Okay. Constantine seemed to be so focused on his work that he forgot Nahima's presence and he deduced it would be better to leave him alone. Okay. I guess I can go back to kitchen and report to them. She came back to Adelphi and Melisande leave it. You got me there, you rascals! Are you not ashamed of disturbing Constantine's work? The poor soul never asked for this. The two retainers giggled even more. Ah, it's just a prank, nothing to get angry over. That is true. Besides, he deserved it with a face like his, being so serious all the time. Stop this mockery at once. Are you going to tell me what you know? Yes or no? Their looks become irritated. We know nothing of the princess baptism. We hadn't even been born at the time. If you really wish to went to your favorite match, go see Barthélemy, one of the king's advisors. He should know something. I much prefer that. Well, after making eye contact with Kiona, who was ending her tour with Alienor, the young servant called the princess over to follow her. She complied at once, too glad to escape. The two of them rushed towards the royal cabinet, where the counselors would regularly gather. Okay. Anything? Go say Barthélemy as we told you. He's right, we don't know more. Okay, any new things? I don't think any new things, I guess. But I will double check to make sure. Yeah, we need to go to cabinet, but I am checking first. This is same. Okay, let me go to bedroom to check. Okay, this is the same. Yeah, I think nothing changes, so I think we can go to the cabinet directly. Let's go to cabinet. Ah, you're here. Barthélemy? In the flesh. I am surprised to see you here, princess. It has been quite some time since I last saw you. Well, my presence seems to upset my father. I know. Nevertheless, you have grown up so fast. It is a pity not to see you assume the throne in a more conventional manner. A hint of sadness appeared on the old man's face. You who know so many things, were you present during my baptism? It is said a fairy was there. Well, I am astounded that you have heard of this story. To be honest, as your mother's right hand at the time, I was invited as a guest of honor. Unfortunately, I fell sick after getting back drenched from an important journey a few days prior, to the extent that I was too ill to attend the festivities. The princess looked so disappointed she could not hide it. However, if you really want to know more, I would advise you to find Shan, one of the laundry women. She is a discreet woman whom nobody notices, but she knows when and where to listen. She is aware of almost everything happening in the castle. She must have an acquaintance who could inform you. I will ask her. Thank you, Barthélemy. It is always a pleasure, princess. Take care of yourself. The two young women left the council room unsatisfied. You told me you were directed to this man by the servants, but he knew nothing. Unfortunately, those are the hazards of an investigation, princess. Finding the right person can take some time. Admittedly, but time is going by, and I cannot afford to wander through the castle in this pivotal moment. I know, I hope we'll have better luck with Jan. Okay, let me see first. Jan. Let's check hallway. And you are in the hallway. Directly. Around the corner, Nahima caught a glimpse of a woman lifting a huge basket of laundry by herself. She stopped walking right away. Princess, I believe this is her. Stay here for a couple minutes. I am going to talk to her. Are you asking me to wait again? We cannot take the risk of her bowing down to you like the others. We are already running out of time. Very well. I'm not moving an inch from here. The lady in waiting rushed forward to chase her retainer. Excuse me, are you Jen? Aye, that's me. I have heard a rumor according to which a fairy was present during the princess baptism, and I was told you could tell me more about it. Damn, I did hear talk of fairy story. The woman suddenly seemed to change her mind. I'm not being tricked or something like that yet. What are you afraid of? She pranced about with an awkward look. The thing is, my college Clotilde is around today. I don't know why at all. She must have met the boy and ran away with him, but she could come back too. Damn, she'll come back. I'm done worried about her. Get straight to the point. Since I don't know if Clotilde's gonna come back or not, I'm replacing her so that no one finds her out she's vanished. But that's way too much work for me alone. If you could help Big Ol me to light the candles tonight, I'd go faster. It would be bad to mess the job up. Well, I promise to help you. That's brave of you. Thanks, gal. I do what I say. I'm gonna bring you to the old Victoria. After making a reassuring gesture aimed at Kiona, Nahima followed the laundry woman to the castle's inner garden. In a remote nook, an adult woman was spinning a thread with the sea staff on her wheel while humming to herself. Shan briefly introduced Nahima to her friend. So, you want to learn more about the fairy? Exactly. You were here during the baptism or so I heard. Did you see her? For sure. One cannot forget the face of such a creature. A preternatural presence emanates from fairies. Do you know how the queen managed to summon her or how to contact her? I would like to meet her. The old woman chuckled. That is a rather presumptuous wish, but so be it. I remember it perfectly since I was in the front seat. The queen had let me sit there as a reward for years of good and faithful service. I saw the fairy hand offer a silver whistle to her. She was close enough for me to hear her words. Use this to summon me, she said. Oh, really? Naima was taken aback. So there was a way to call the fairy? Impatient, she pressed Victoria for more information. Do you know what happened to the whistle? I don't know for sure, but I think it was put away with the queen's belongings. Nobody must have touched it since her death, so it should still be in the disused wing of the castle. in one of the cabinets. I gather you cannot be more precise than that. Unfortunately, no, young lady. You should already be glad that I was able to help you. Nobody here remembers the fairy anymore. Incidentally, tell me if you see her. I would be curious to know what she is doing nowadays. I will. Okay. Okay. So we need to check the disused wings of the castle. Let me save again. Then let's see. Can we go to hallway and talk to you? Okay. The servant came back to the heiress to tell her about her discoveries. Kiana was immediately relieved to learn where the whistle was located. This is wonderful, Nahima. Who could have thought we would trace back the fairy's sleep? All we have to do is now searching the abandoned wing. Not so fast, princess. The sun has already started to set. It is far too late to do so today. We'll go there tomorrow. You are right, and we would not see a thing without light anyway. My only hope is that my toilet is not ready yet. There is only one way to find out. Go back to your quarters, princess. As for me, I have promised Jane to help her. The two young women parted ways for the evening. Sadly, the workers were even quicker than the day before, and the dress the color of the moon was brought to her without delay, along with the same orders as before. Okay, this is more moon-like, yes. Wearing that new toilet, she went to the royal cabinet as distraught as in previous times. The rich dress was as splendid as the knightly celestial body, making the young princess look even more sublime. In her confusion, she then asked for a dress as bright as the sun, and the king accepted if she's sure she would have enough dresses until the wedding. And so, the little game continued. The next day, when the first rays of the sun hit Kiona's numb eyelids, she already knew that the day would be laborious, but she could not imagine what the next one would look like yet. Okay, this is the wing. With one mind, Nahima and Kiona had set to explore the derelict wing of the castle where the queen's cabinet seal was. The magic whistle would most certainly be in the affairs of the deceased. Just as once, the servant was looking quiet, almost impassive. How should we proceed, princess? There is a lot of ground to cover, and there is only two of us. Is something wrong, Nahima? You seem nervous. Well, the king made it very clear he would not give you any more clothes. Our plan until now was to stall for as much time as possible. I'm afraid we no longer have room to maneuver. If we do not find that whistle today, we will have failed. Do not worry about me. We will find a solution, right? It does not sound like you to be pessimistic, Nasima. The lady in waiting nervously rubbed her ear, blushing. You are right, princess. It is my duty to always keep your morale up. I cannot lose heart now. Much better. Operation whistle. Begin. Kiona and Nahima entered the first dusty room. A table covered with sumptuous vases in porcelain of China. It is said that the deceased queen loved to collect items from all around the world and that she had planned to build a place where her citizens could admire them. Unfortunately, that project never came to fruition. Ah, you plan to make museum. An ebony statue depicting a woman, symbol of fecundity. Probably a souvenir the queen kept of Africa, which she had wanted to visit. An old yet magnificent gilded clock. Its hands do not move. It is almost as if the flow of time itself had been frozen since the tragedy. A vast mirror that covers most of the wall. The items the queen was especially fond of are exposed on the piece of furniture below. This one. A wooden music box. When someone opens it, a soft melody is played. More faces in porcelain of China. The queen's personal collection must be worth a fortune. A good thing to know should the country have financial trouble. Okay? No, but I want to check. Yeah, I have finished. Nothing else, I guess. I think that is all for this cabinet, princess. I do not see any nook that could escape our attention. Let us move on to the next room. We will eventually find what interests us, I swear. The two young women relentlessly continued exploring. The second room was filled with all kinds of paintings. A large harp covered in dust. It is said that the deceased queen was an excellent musician and that she sometimes gave small private performance. Yeah. A couch accompanied by goose feather cushions. It appears to still be in good condition and it looks especially comfortable. A great number of canvases has been stored in this room. It most probably is the decision of the king. Unwilling to see the paintings depicting his beloved wife, he asked them to be removed and stored far from his eyes. I see. A canvas has been torn down with a blade. It is still possible to recreate the picture from its shards. Do you wish to piece the painting together? Yeah? Okay. This is nice. Puzzle pieces. Okay. I think it snaps. It's easier if it snaps. Something like that. Ta, 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 ta. Yep. It should be here. And soon I will be depleted of all the border pieces. Now the inside pieces. No, no, not that. Maybe this? Ah, yeah, that's correct. This should be correct. This is top. This is closer to here. This is inside, I guess. This here. There we go. Once the work had been completed, the princess could finally uncover the mysterious torn canvas. It was a portrait of her late mother. The young woman gasped while staring at the picture. Her mother was indeed her spitting image, and she was so beautiful. Kiona suddenly felt aggrieved. She would have loved to have been able to spend more time with her, to know more about her. Okay, the painting is done. And this one. While admiring the canvas representing her baptism, Kiona could not help but feel a twinge of sorrow. All the guests looked so happy. Okay, I think everything is already done. Yeah, I already explored everything. 5. So I think we can go to the next one. Okay, let's go to the next room. There is nothing else catching my attention, Princess. I hope our research will be more fruitful in the next cabinet. I hope so too, Nahima. Time is running dangerously out. The iris pushed the third room door, her return still following in her footsteps. The scenery in front of them was not that different from the previous attempts. Even so, hope had not left them yet. A tiny spark was still shining in their heart. That is the target. I guess that is the target. Wait a bit. A huge chimney filled the good of the room. It had to be inhabited for it to open. Okay, should be good. So let's see. A huge chimney fills a good part of the room. It had to be inhabited for its occupant to see fit to install something like here. Yeah, I am checking if there is something that I miss. Okay. This one. A piece of furniture filled with a few books. There is no doubt that the queen must have only taken the books she liked or read the most. Strangely enough, there is a copy of The Art of War written by a certain Sun Tzu. Let me snooze the ad a bit because I am still interested with this. It is close to the end of this part, I guess. A gigantic tapestry is hanging on the wall. The picture symbolizes the queen guiding her people. And this. The queen's working desk. Let us see what those drawers could contain. Nahima pointed at the bottom of the drawer with excitation. Princess, could this be? There is only one way to find out. We have to use it. With a pounding heart, the iris grasped the item and blew with all her might as she mentally prayed for the stratagem to work. A heavy silence followed the sound of the whistle. All of a sudden, a burst of wind rising up out of nowhere entered the room as purple reflections shaded the walls. Got your achievement. A gleaming orb appeared before the two stunned girls. As they were waiting, shivering, a powerful voice echoed through the cabinet. Let me save. Who is calling me? Who dares interrupt my sleep? Fearful, Naima hid behind the princess, not daring to look away from the apparition. She had never seen a fairy before, and there was something awe-inspiring about the apparition. Tiana was not confident either, but she felt she had to speak. Godmother, I am Princess Kiona. I have heard that my mother had requested you to give me the fairy's blessing and that I could ask for your assistance. Is that is that correct? Princess Kiona. That name does ring a bell. You were well informed. The whistle you used to contact me is the proof. I am indeed your grandmother. What can I do for you? The two girls sighed with relief. The orb that was spinning in the middle of the room did not seem hostile. Although Kiona was not superstitious, she had to face the facts. Nahima was right all along. The thing is, my father has gone mad. He, wait. Let me check again. Okay, let me read from here. Sorry. Although Kiana was not superstitious, she had to face facts. Nahima was right all along. Fairies didn't exist. Regaining courage, the Iris raised her voice. The thing is, my father has gone mad. He claims that he is going to marry me, and I do not know what to do. A curious story. And you hope to borrow my powers to get yourself out of this bad situation? That is right. I suppose you are ignorant of how a relationship between a fairy and a human being works, but let me warn you, it will not be easy. To begin with, I can appear in your world to assist you, but it will require several hours. Kiana's smile abruptly disappeared. The servant and the princess stared at each other with dismay. Several hours? But godmother, this is an urgent matter. I am snoozing it again for 5 minutes. I must meet my father shortly to confirm my wedding vows, and he swore he would execute me if I did not conform to his order. I am sorry, but I cannot do differently. You see, fairies come from a parallel world where time flows in a different way. Even if I hurry, I would not be able to materialize correctly in your world with a snap of my fingers. And you would not want me to appear with only a fragment of my powers, would you? If you really need me, you will have to wait. But once you get here, you will be able to help me, right? I will not lie. You have to observe some rules to get the right to borrow my powers. But if you abide by them, there is no reason why I should not be able to help you. The apparition answer was not entirely satisfying, but Kiona hardly had a choice. Overcoming her fear, Nahima slowly came away from her mistress' shoulders. So, fairy are not orbs of colorful light like I am seeing you right now? The voice let a cackle slip. The echo magnified the power of that sound, making the young women shudder. No, this is not my true form, only a very convenient means of communication. I will let you know, dear ladies, that I do not like to come out for nothing. Usually I would not have even answered at all. However, a promise is a promise. Fairies are always true to their word, and I did give you my blessing. I look forward to meeting you in the flesh then. I have always dreamed of seeing a fairy with my very own eyes. The walls shook again with the benevolent laugh of the preternatural being. Oh, but you will see me soon enough. I will be in your room by tomorrow afternoon, Kiona. Until then, be patient. Tomorrow afternoon. With those few words, a new burst of wind made the cabinet tremble, and the purple orb disappeared as it had come. Shaken, the maidens felt like they had just woken up from a dream. Silently, they headed for the princess' suite. Still, Nahima exclaimed as she walked. We did it! Even if it will take some time, we call the fairy fort. Soon you will be out of the woods, princess. I hope so. As they were about to enter the room, they noticed the tails running towards them. After the previous whims, they had gotten ready to face a third one, and had done anything they could to work even faster. Not only they did call on all the Numian's apprentices for help, but they also took the liberty of fetching many precious materials. And so they were already bringing dress to the color of sun, worn out by those long nights of work, yet satisfied to finally see the end of this punishment. Tiona felt devastated. Onaima, what should I do? The dress is already here, and I cannot buy us more time before the fairy comes. This is all over. Not yet, princess. I have an idea. It pains me to share it, but I was not able to find another throughout the day. Kiona eagerly tugged the retainer's sleeve, thrilled to see an alternative appearing. Say it anyway! Tell your father that his gift makes you happy, and that you accept to marry him, on condition that he brings you a token of love to ensure his sincerity. As for the marvelous donkey's hide, the one that guarantees the kingdom's prosperity. The donkey? But I cannot. That would be horrible. The poor animal did not do anything wrong, and the country is headed for ruin if the donkey is not here to maintain our finances anymore. I know, princess, I am not very proud of my advice, but I do not see any other way. If there is still an ounce of discernment left in your father, he will refuse and you will be saved. However, if he persists in his madness and decides to seal the fate of your people, then you should not have any scruple. Leave this wretched place. Are you not supposed to serve my father? If I find a way to escape to another kingdom, you will be stuck here. That is a possibility I am ready to face. My loyalty lies with the princess, even if it is served me badly. The same applies to common good. I put you above anything else. Oh, Nahima, but I would feel so guilty. It would assuredly be the road to ruin. You must do it, princess. This is our last chance to buy some time. Kiona sighed. She could not back away, not so close to her goal. As in previous days, the heiress wore the clothes and went to her father. She dazzled the king upon entering. Never before had there been something as exquisite, and never had the princess looked as radiant. Satisfied to see his daughter so stunning, he was delighted with the mere thought of celebrating their wedded bliss and could not hide his pleasure. Are you content with your dresses? Anyways, outbreak was there, so yeah, I cannot snooze it. Keep it a bit because after this we will end the stream. I think it is a good time to end after this outbreak. Uh, Let me rest a bit. Okay, I think ad breaks are over. So yeah, hello Jung. Yeah, I have hydrated a lot. I read a lot of text today, and it is fun. It is fun. But yeah, I already read very much. Thank you, Helia. But yes, uh, I want to finish at least this day and some of those. Okay. Yep, it's been 3 hours. Okay, let's continue a bit, just a bit more. Yes, father, they are all so magnificent. Very good. Was that your last request? Or do you have another wish before our wedding? Well, all those dresses are beautiful, and I am sad to espouse you. However, I would like to make sure of your feelings towards me. The monarch furrowed his brows. I am ready for anything if it means convincing you, my daughter. As a token of your love, I would like the skin of that old donkey which is getting so bored in your stables. King Thibaut, having lost his ability to reason long ago, had no remorse sacrificing the treasure of the country and granted the dumbstruck girl's request. He added that the animal would be killed right away and that she only needed to wait until the next afternoon so that the skin could be prepared and partly dried. Thus, the princess spent her longest and most eventful night yet. She kept waking up, drenched in sweat, imagining the dead animal at her feet, its entrails on her skin. In the darkness of her room, she feverishly prayed with all her heart that the fairy would manage to save her. May God grant her that wish. She didn't know yet that the day to come would be the longest and most nightmarish one of all her existence. Okay, I won't continue the game because this should be the next day, but I want to read the archive first. Yep, they finish your free now. But I want to read the archive first. Okay, Donkeyskin 2. When the king asks for his daughter's hand in marriage, she promptly goes to her godmother, who happens to be a fairy, in the hope of avoiding the wedding. The latter suggests that she only pretends to agree in exchange for the most magnificent and luxurious outfit ever made, convinced that he would never be able to succeed. Yet, the sovereign has no problem obtaining such a thing. Encouraged by her godmother, the princess then requests a series of magical dresses. One the color of weather, the other the color of the moon, and the last the color of the sun. Vexed to see that the monarch still does not give up, the fairy decides to move things up a gear and advise the young girl to demand the skin of magical donkey. She is again persuaded that he will refuse, since the animal is the source of his wealth. He cannot reasonably get rid of it. Unfortunately, the king has no qualm putting it to death. The princess has to pretend to be inclined to marry him while drawing up a plan to escape as far as possible. In the prose version, the godmother has a name. She is called the Lilac Fairy, and she genuinely loses her temper when her ploy keeps failing. It is coincidentally quite strange that such a powerful creature could make so many mistakes. Gustav Dore Donkeyskin. Oh, interesting. But yeah, the 12% and I don't get the number 5, I guess. But yeah. But yeah, I think that should be all that I have here. I am checking a bit. Okay, should be good. Nothing else that I can click. Then I can save again. Okay, I already saved, so I think this is all I can do for today. Yeah, I think the next one should be much more immense or intense. So I will keep it for the next playthrough. I will play this again in another day for this. I am intrigued with the story. There is a lot of lore, there is a lot of explanation in here, and I want to see where it goes. I think we only just get the surface of it, but there is a lot of things that I want to see. This will be one of the series that I can do in the long run. I know, but yeah, thank you all for being here with me, watching me reading this and enjoying this visual novel. It is very good. Thank you, Helia, for making this game. It is very nice, and thank you for letting me know about this game too. This is very enjoyable. Yep. there is a lot of things. Thank you for everyone, and see you soon in my next stream. Good morning, after evening, and take care. Nyan. Bye bye.